From the Massive Iron Channel, I'm Steve Shaw, Editorial Director at TigerFitness.com and Muscle and Bra Nutrition CEO. Q and A Sunday. Got a cigar today. Just got back from the Reds versus the Brewers at the Great American Ballpark. This is a Camacho, 6-year age. This is a great cigar. So I'm enjoying it before I head out on a night on the town. Look at, I'm looking spectacular today. Guys, Q&A Sunday. Before I get into the questions today, if you have a question for the big, hairy, ugly dude, hit up my Q&A link below. Come on over, post your questions up in that Q&A link. I answer every question posted. The best questions I turn into a Q&A video every Sunday. So please come back every Sunday and look for that. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. I appreciate the support. Now, heads up, I'm not going to be able to put the timestamps in, as you probably noticed, because I'm in a bit of a rush, but I will add them tomorrow. So be patient. All right, let's get into the questions, guys. First question today is from Brad Randall. He says, Sunday Q&A question, best way to lose fat, what kind of diet and training, please, and thank you. From Brad Randall, 5'7", 175 pounds, 16% body fat. He wants to get to 9 to 10%. Look, there is no magic plan. You have to focus on the things you can control. This is something I beat to death. What can you focus on? What are the things you can control? Training. You don't train any differently when you're cutting than when you're bulking. The only thing you possibly do when you're cutting is pull back the volume just a little bit, 20, 25, maybe 30%, so you're not as taxed, so you don't feel as drained, because sometimes when you're cutting, it's harder to get through long workouts. With that said, you still make every effort to push for as many reps as possible, maximize those sets when you're cutting, etc. So training, not any different. You might drop the volume by a hair. Now, diet, look, this isn't something, there isn't some magical key that you can insert in and get a magical diet. Everybody is different. Diet is a learning process. The guys that get super ripped take, unless they're genetic freaks, it takes a lot of trial and error to get where they are. I would recommend, for starters, where your calorie intake level is at maintenance, just starting at 300 calories below that and run that for 3 to 4 weeks just to see how your body responds, just to set a baseline. The first couple of weeks, you're going to lose weight quicker because you're losing water weight, so ignore those. The third and fourth week at this level, that's your measuring stick. If you're losing 1.5 pounds a week, stay at that level and just continue to run it. Now, cardio, you want to start with about 3 days at 20 to 30 minutes per day. That's it. Now, from that point, as long as you're losing 1.5 pounds a week, you keep things going. If you stop losing weight, then either bump up the cardio just a hair, like add a session in a week, or drop the calories down by about 200. Now, you continue with that for another several weeks, and then if you're losing weight, you stick with it. If not, then you might drop the calories by another couple hundred. If that eventually sticks, then you might try cycling carbohydrates. If that doesn't work, then dropping your carbohydrates low. So that's the best advice I can give you. You're going to have to learn a lot of, there's going to be a lot of trial and error in here. You're going to have to pay close attention to the scale. You're going to have to take body fat readings with calipers and kind of see what happens and make adjustments. So I hope that helped. Next question is from El Guapo57. He wants my opinion on periodization. What are your thoughts on it? Pros and cons. Personally, from a consistent gain standpoint, etc. He goes on to explain some things. He wants to know what I believe are the pros and cons of periodization. Periodization comes down to me to stage of lifting. If you're a beginner, you really have no need to periodize your training. The weight the first couple of years is relatively not that heavy, so your body's not taking a beating. So you need to go into the gym, maximize every set like I push in my book, Massive Iron, and just get as strong and as big as quickly as possible the first couple of years. Now, after that point, if you've been doing things right, then you might want to try a non-linear periodization, where you go hard and heavy one week, where you're maximizing the big compound movements, say in the rep ranges of 5 to 8 reps, pushing for as many reps as possible. And the next week, you're either doing something like volume training, where the weight's not quite as heavy, or you're doing like rest pause training or whatever. So you cycle between maximizing the real super heavy sets in the 5 to 8 rep range one week, and then drop the weight a little bit lighter. So you're cycling weight intensity between two different types of styles. After that point, after you've been doing that for a couple of years, and you've built about 90 to 95% of all the strength and muscle you're ever going to build, then you're a late intermediate lifter, and you don't really need to periodize if you're just after muscle. If your goal is strength, then it's probably best that you have like an 8-week block of hypertrophy training, and then after that, like an 8-week periodization, like an 8 to 10-week periodization. There's plenty of powerlifting periodization programs out on the net, but that's my best advice. You don't need to periodize the first couple of years. It's a waste of time, in my opinion. If you periodize the first couple of years and use something like Wendler's, you're just slowing your gains. So I know that's controversial, but hey, that's my belief. And I'm the big, hairy, ugly dude. Next question is from Richie, 9954445. 9954445. Says, Steve, what would you suggest for someone whose lower back is running like crazy when trying to get into the deadlift position? He says, I know what the issue because I can do sumo without much of a problem. I do hamstring stretches, etc. I have a question, Richie. Is it your lower back that's rounding getting the deadlift position, or is it your upper back? I don't really see anybody's lower back rounding getting in the deadlift position. If you have a body type where your lower back is rounding getting into the deadlift position, you probably need to use sumo. That would be my advice, not to do conventional. But I have a feeling that what you are experiencing is upper back rounding. Now, when I set up for the deadlift, and I made a video about this a couple days ago, lock arms, I try to get my shoulders as high as possible, and then I tighten my lower back. So your upper back might round when you get into that deadlift position. It's okay to have a rounded upper back on the deadlift. You don't want to come in with a flat, tight upper back and lead off a deadlift, because when you start to pull, some bodybuilders do this and it's a mistake. This is upper back rounding when you start to pull, that's normal. If you try to have your lats and upper back flat and you start to pull, what's going to happen? Your arms are going to yank down, your lats are going to pull down, you're going to wrist tear. You don't want to start in that position. You're going to put a lot of stress on your lats. So it's okay to have the upper back rounded when you start to pull. I have a feeling that's your issue, if not my mistake. But if your lower back is an issue, you probably need to stick to sumo deadlifts. All right, next question is from LukawanaBBig. He says, Steve, I started wrestling training. What are your thoughts on Joe DeFranco's Westside for skinny bastards? He wants to build strength and mass, and he wants to know if it's a good exercise, a good program for athletes. Here's my opinion. Any program that focuses on major compound movements, dumbbell and barbell movements, and progression is a good program for athletes. Starting strength, Wendler's, Westside for skinny bastards, whatever, massive iron, my book. As long as you're getting stronger on barbell and dumbbell exercises, it's going to help you in nearly any sport, maybe even ping pong. Now, here's my experience. I was an athlete all my life. As a youth, I loved sports. But it wasn't until college that I started lifting. I was skinny, fat, and weak when I started college. After 18 months of getting dramatically stronger on barbell and dumbbell exercises, I found I could almost dunk a basketball. My vert was up like 12 inches. My sprint speed, when I got in the military, I was the fastest sprinter on base. I came home, got involved with a softball team, and I was jacking home runs left and right. Wrestling is something I did, and believe it or not, I actually did professional wrestling. Yes, I did, for a short period of time. But in amateur wrestling, it's something I did. My strength was so great that people had a hard time beating me because of my strength, my raw strength, because most of the other guys didn't train for strength. So regardless of your sport, pick a program that focuses on progression and barbell and dumbbell exercises and ride it hard. Westside for Skinny Bastards is a perfectly acceptable program. All right, next question is from Rayban. 2 more questions left today. Rayban says, hey Steve, I do a push-pull legs twice a week and normally start with flat bench press on push day 1 and then an incline on push day 2. Is it okay if I start with incline on both push days if I have a lower chest that's lagging? Absolutely, absolutely. You don't even need to do flat bench work. You don't even need to do flat bench work. What I would suggest though is if your incline is lagging, that you do some form of an incline barbell or dumbbell press during the first workout and consider doing guillotine presses. I've been messing around with these the last 4 weeks because Paul Carter, and you can Google Paul Carter guillotine press, recommended trying these. I go really controlled, only till about 4 or 5 inches from my neck. I don't take them down to my neck, but I don't go too low because the lower back you go, the more strain you put on your shoulders. But I go nice and controlled. I do 4 to 5 sets of 10, and that really hits my chest. Go controlled, control that weight, don't go reckless, lowering the weight all reckless and bouncy like the bros do it. But I would do, on push day 1, say barbell incline presses. Push day 2, a guillotine press. Push day 1 the next week, do incline dumbbell bench presses. And push day 2, do guillotines or another incline, maybe an incline machine press variation. Okay? I hope that helps. You can... If you don't want to do that and you just want to do 2 incline variations during the week, that's perfectly fine. You don't need to do flat bench movements. You're not going to die. Last question is from Phil M789. Steve, I have a question about the rep goal system. For those of you that don't know what the rep goal system is, it's featured in my book, Massive Arm, which you can find below. It's available for $14.99 at tigerfitness.com. That sounds like a commercial, but look, if you can't afford my book, I will send it to you for free. My email is below, no questions asked. He says, for instance, he has a question about dumbbell exercises in the rep goal system. He says, when doing standing dumbbell overhead presses, I'm doing 4 sets and have a rep goal of 40. Basically, he's trying to do 40 total reps on those 4 sets. And when he hits 40 total reps on the 4 sets, not 40 reps per set, but 40 for the 4 sets, like maybe 12, 8, 12, 10, 8, and 6 or whatever. You know, he's trying to get 40 total combined. He's saying when he hits that point, he's using 50-pound dumbbells. When he moves up to 55-pound dumbbells, the reps drop dramatically. What to do at that point? My battery just went low. What to do at that point? You can do 2 things. If you're doing 4 sets and you have a rep goal of 40, I'd bump the rep goal up to 45 or maybe even 50. If that doesn't work, I drop the rep goal system and do 4 sets of 10 with 50-pound dumbbells. And once you got to 4 sets of 10 with 55, then move on to the 50s. Or when you can do 4 sets of 10 with the 50s, then move on to the 55s. Once you get there, I guarantee your reps per set are probably going to be better. All right, guys, that's it for the Q&A video. Again, if you have any questions or comments, hit up my Q&A link below. I answer every question posted. If you've made this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. Guys, remember, if you're going to buy supplements this Labor Day, head over to tigerfitness.com. Huge Gainer is the perfect, that's a product I make, is the perfect post-workout meal. 3-to-1 carb to protein ratio, 25 grams of protein. It's only $24.99 for 5 pounds. Quality whey, quality taste. It's cheaper than whey protein because there's carbs in it. But it's a perfect post-workout meal. So please support me. Check that out this weekend. You get free shipping on orders over $99 at tigerfitness.com. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.